Mic check. 1, 2. Give me a thumbs up. One way or another. All right. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. My name is Law Nation, L-A-W Nation. We're going to talk about this. I know we got to talk about it. Hey, it is what it is. Fire, fire, fire everywhere. Let me get the fire emojis in the chat box. You know how this thing go. Here's the situation. The Dallas Cowboys then went out there and said, okay, we're going to bring in a few people for an interview, but we already got somebody in mind. That person comes from the name of Dan Quinn. All right, so he used to be a head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. He started it off in Seattle, Washington. And my thing is, we still have some traces of identities with Dan Quinn from Christopher Richard. Well, my thing is, Cowboy Nation, is when we look at everything and we contextualize it. Appreciate you, Nathan. Appreciate you, Joel. Appreciate you, Mr. Blue Zebra. Appreciate you, Jason S. Appreciate you, Eron. Appreciate everybody that's tuning in, Jay. Form D, really appreciate you for jumping in. So when we look at everything, we would say to ourselves, all right, cool. We got a new defensive coordinator. It might have alienated George Edwards. It might have alienated whoever else, Al Harris, Maurice Lindquist, and all of those boys. But the reality of it is that the Cowboys need some experience. We don't need to sit out here and come out here and say, okay, we're going to bring in somebody that can try to learn to pick up a system. We need something that can be, I guess, ideal for the guys that's already on this team. Two things in two areas that we got to look at. And you guys check out my dog, Rue Glock, man. Let me pin his message right there. He's on my YouTube page, man. He's just hit that like button, man. Help his brother out, man. Help me out, too. All right, so my thing is, when we look at everything, we will say to ourselves, okay, cool. They tried to bring in a new defense last year, a new philosophy, a new scheme, a hybrid-style defense, a 3-4 principle-based defense. You got everybody disgruntled, got everybody upset. Some of the people said it is too hard for them to learn and pick up the system. Some people were like before the season started that, hey, this defense, I got to talk about the last year before we get into this year, so we can know where we're going, right? So last year, people were looking at it like before the season started off, before the season got going, a lot of people was looking at this particular defense saying, okay, we're going to be relaxed, we're going to be free, we're going to be happy about the fact that we can play loosely, we're going to stop doing the principles of fighting the hands, right? Gentleman Job says, hey, y'all smash that like button. I appreciate you, gentlemen. Everybody was saying that, right? Mama, uncle, cousin, Tupac, Biggie, Kamika, Tamara, everybody was saying, okay, this defense should get more turnovers and takeaways, right? But I come here to tell you that nobody on this green earth or nobody on this blue earth, regardless of how you look at it, said that this team will be historically bad. If you were, post me your timestamp and put it out there to the world to see that you was right, that this defense will be historically bad, right? We didn't see it coming. We got hit, and we was left with the raggedy tooth all year long, right? And catastrophically speaking, we didn't have none of that on our defensive side of the ball outside of McCoy, and nobody could tell me that McCoy would have made that much of a difference as relates to this particular team, right? So we got all of that stuff. We're going to pick that up. I'm shaking it just like this, and we're going to put it on the shelf, okay? Pick it up and put it on the shelf. Pick it up and put it on the shelf, right? That was last year. So the principles of Dan Quinn is similar to what we've been already running since 2013. Let me repeat. It's the same principle that we've been running ever since 2013. It's the same Monty Kiffin. It's the same Papa Rob Marinelli. It's the same system, basically speaking. Now, the values may be different. And I'm not elevating and I'm not pumping up Dan Quinn. Please don't think I am. But what I'm saying is that the likings of what Dan Quinn brings to the table is different from what we had currently in this particular scheme or system or philosophy. What are you saying, Law? Well, do you guys remember back in Seattle land, they had this guy named Big Maybane. I forgot his first name, but it was a Maybane. He was a big boy. Gobble, gobble, gobble guy. We'll still have some one tech situation, one gap principles, right? One gap principles, right? So they had that big plug. Oh, snap. Do you guys remember over there in Atlanta's land, they got a guy named, is it Jarrett? Jarrett? And I ain't talking about Jason Grady, whatever his name is, Garrett, what's his name, Grady? Adrian, what's up, Dyson? Appreciate you. Good evening, Law. I think Diggs is our Richard Sherman besides D. Wilson. Who would you like in our secondary? Let me see if the AI can pick that up. The AI been on an absentee. But, Adrian, I really appreciate you. It'll be disrespectful to Richard Sherman, who is a great cornerback, for me to say, oh, here she go.
Good evening, Law. I think Diggs is our Richard Sherman besides D. Wilson. Who do you like to get our secondary better?
I like Diggs. I do like what he brings to the table. There's some similarities as relates to both started off being a wide receivers and now they switched over to defensive back. And I'm not finna disrespect Richard Sherman right now. I'm thinking that, hey, and I'm a hard grader. I'm not this guy that's going to be pillow soft and say, okay, Diggs is going to be the next great thing since sliced bread over here. He still got some growing pains, believe it or not, that he have to go through. I think that Diggs got to be a little bit more aggressive. And, of course, in this type of situation and scenario, we can look at this thing and say to ourselves, yes, cornerbacks is what we need. We need defensive back that can get their head around to the ball, take the ball away from the opposition, and give the ball back to the offense. We need to see that, right? But he is solid, but I'm not finna tell you guys that he's going to be a world beater next year. He's still got some growing things to go with. So that's why when we look into this draft and we talking straight defense, I'm not even looking at the offense. We just talking defense, the real side of the football, the defense, right? Can anybody disagree? The real side of football is defense. If we can look at this defense and say, okay, cool. How can we get something to complement Diggs, right? What can we do to help him out? Number one would be, of course, in the front four. But somebody in the secondary as it relates to the safety play. We will have Barry Church on tomorrow. Shout out to Barry Church. He's a safety, and he can give us some more intel and some more information on how the safety play. If you elevate the safety play, the cornerbacks, they can then become a little bit more aggressive. They can become a little bit more sticky because they know they got the over-the-top help. But on the flip side, if you can have an impact up in the front with some big meat, some guys that's down in the trenches, some guys that can hold this thing together up front, then that will help out everything. Remember, I was telling everybody, that defense is the girl, and trust me, I'm not trying to warn off or talk badly amongst the ladies, but it's the girl that nobody tells. You know, the brothers don't tell everybody like, hey, this is what I got. You know, that's the one they kind of covet and keep to the side to themselves. That's what defense is. It's ugly, but it's deadly. It's efficient. That is what defense brings to the table. Let me put my timer up here. Yeah, it's timer at the bottom of the screen. I gotta put myself on a timer here. I'll go beyond that time. But I'm thinking that what we got right now is that the reason why they kind of push this hire out here is because now they want to say, okay, Dan, we flew you in or what have you. Come on, sign the paper. Hurry up, sign. Now evaluate these guys that we got now. All right, sit down with me and watch some of this playoff game. Who's going to be on the market after the playoff game is over with? Or let's look at the Super Bowl together. Who out there that you really think that can be a difference maker, that can help out the Diggs of the world? Do you really like Wilson? Wasn't he drafted somewhere in the same range or in the same area as Cam Chancellor? What round was Cam Chancellor drafted? Y'all help me out. The aficionados out there. Encore. Appreciate you, Robert. Appreciate you. Man, everybody that's here, man, I appreciate y'all, man. Let me do this right quick. Bring it up. Appreciate everybody that's here. 5th round. Okay, so, Wilson was in the 6th, right? Yeah. So they're going to say, hey, what do you see out of him? Huh? And on top of that, okay, he was the 6th or the 5th. One of those rounds was a late round. Oh, what round was the other guy, that got caught with the Adderall and all of that stuff? Boy, they were trying to do whatever they can do to get on that team. I think it was a big boy, Brown or something like Brownlee. What was his name? I forgot his name at the tip of my tongue. But he was drafted late too. He was a cornerback on the opposite side, but they got rid of him a little bit earlier. Gracie, appreciate you. He said, hey, Law, since Quinn is hired now, and we need another safety alongside Wilson, could you see Keanu O'Neal since he's now a free agent? Yeah, I can see him. Browner, yeah, appreciate you. Jerry, not Wayne, but I see you, Jerry. I see you. Yes. Appreciate you. So how can we elevate?
Since Quinn is hired now and we need another safety alongside Wilson, could the Cowboys sign Keanu O'Neal since he's now a free agent?
I can see them bringing him in for competition. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not the biggest fan of his range aspect of it, but I can tell you that he's better. And please don't come after me, Cowboy Nation. Shout out to you, Dr. Football and Mike G, but please don't come after me. But he's better than a Darian Thompson. Shout out to Darian Thompson, though, by the way. And he's better than Xavier Woods, right? Earl Thomas, I love the ideal of Earl, but that ship doesn't sail, right? That ship doesn't sail. And I think that Earl Thomas is riding off onto the retirement lane. Him and his beautiful wife, they can just chill and sit somewhere in Texas, wherever they at, and just sit back and be a spectator of the game and just live off of their rich loins, right? Yeah. But if they do bring back Earl, if they do bring in Earl for a cup of coffee, first thing first, we would have to put some things into details and some other issues as it relates to like this right here, contractual, you know what I'm saying? So it won't be convoluted with anything that he brings to the table, veterans minimum, right? One of those type of situations. Oh, and also I heard that Richard Sherman.
He's liking the Quinn hiring. Does that speak volume about how the defense might have felt about Nolan?
That's a good one, Versick. I don't know. Twaka, he was a guy that started off as a two gap. He went into a 2-gap system, didn't make it out of that system. And then when he went over to the 1-gap system, he flourished and he was able to showcase some of his talent. And when he said Twaka, for those who don't know, Twaka is Antoine Woods. But if and this is no ill feel and this is no illness or no.
Marcus May $7 million and Desmond King for $6.
Marcus, I like the Desmond King, Marcus Mayo. I do love his skill set. I love his tape. That sounds lofty. That sounds like something that we can probably do, Tyrone. I mean, if that happened, I owe you beer. I would literally buy you a case of beer, whatever flavor you want. But back to Jay Versick, Twaka is actually Antoine Woods. But if I'm Dan Quinn, I'm looking at him in his face, and I'm looking at everybody. I'm going right into the gauntlet of everybody that's on this defense, and I say, hey, nobody have room to talk right now. This is my floor. This belongs to me. I want to line y'all all up. And this is what he should do, but I don't think that he will do, but this is what he should do. This is just me. Look everybody in their eyes, and off the jump, he should be pissed off. Quinn, I'm about to say Robert Quinn, but Dan Quinn should be pissed off at everything. He should be looking at this situation and be like, man, the reason why I'm pissed off is because of the fact I just lost a head coaching job. I lost everything. And I'm coming back to prove all of y'all, all the 31 other teams, that there was that worst mistake. Because I'm going to have a chip on my shoulder. But I want to know from everybody why you should be here. And on top of that, since I'm mad and I'm angry and I'm upset at the world, I want to replace each and every last one of you all. I want to replace each and every last one of you all. That should be his battle cry. He should not tiptoe into this defense. He should not crawl backwards into this defense. He should come up in there with a sledgehammer mentality and bust this thing wide open. Says nobody's safe. Establish his tone and his presence day one. It's no more of this coddling candy, cotton candy, soft mentality, being way in the press box, and then you have to get losing for him to crawl all the way down to the sidelines. No, it should be day one. The examples should be already set and spread it out amongst everybody and letting them know that, hey, I'm the new sheriff in town. Now, under the leadership of Mike McCarthy, I'm the next person in charge. The defense set the tone for not just the Dallas Cowboys, but for the entire NFL. I want Arlington Stadium to be one of those situations where we have the 12th man. I saw it worked in Seattle land. Matter of fact, I saw it work a little bit pieces and parts because he started off like hot fire over there in Atlanta. But I should want him to have that mindset. Caesar said this is a bad hire. Here's the thing is, Caesar, I know that I love apples. But if the owner only buying oranges, I can't get mad because he don't want to buy the apple. He only buying oranges, and there's apples and oranges when we think about everything that the Joneses do. We can't control it. They already had their mind made up that they was going to hire Dan Quinn the moment he was available. I guarantee you that. Case in point, look at the company that they brought in. They didn't bring in nobody else that was equivalent. From what I know, it could have, but nobody else that was equivalent to his resume. Outside of George Edwards, he was already in-house. So they probably interviewed him saying that, hey, we are just setting the table for you to let you know out of respect that we're hiring Dan Quinn.
Quinn believes in DTs and safety. This is great.
Yes, Jay, he do. He do. He believe it in the defensive tackle. Maybank, if you look at what the safety played like, even in Seattle, and then when he went to Atlanta, his first rule of business was, okay, let me find somebody who can play interior, and let me find somebody who can play in the secondary. But before he can make an accurate assessment of everyone, little RJ, appreciate you. Let me see if the AI is going to pick that up. I'm going to see if the AI is going to pick it up, and we'll get to that question there. It's exactly what you expect, Jerry. You're not a hero.
Defense will be loads better if we get a really good safety and a nice one tech. Quinn should make a difference if we upgrade those. Love the show, man.
Little RJ on the track.
Save the
Appreciate you.
cottonelle tissue in the bathroom where it belongs. We don't need soft on the field. Let's hope Quinn can toughen up this deaf. Go Cowboys.
Man, Cottonelle. Save that Cottonelle. Shout out to Cottonelle, man. Hey, when people was out there buying all of the tissue, Cottonelle was the first one to go. And then Charmin. So Cottonelle is the softest of the softest, right? Right. Shout out to you, Quincy. I see y'all, man. I'm gonna let all of these super chats go through, man. Y'all help supporting the nation over
Quinn
here.
means Jalen is gone. In the ATL and Seattle, all his pounds can cover. Quinn will get a safety and one tech.
Yeah, my thing is they may have a situation where the Jones is still going to walk out with their chests out, and they say, okay, hey, Quinn, we love you, right? But nevertheless, Jalen is a cornerstone guy, right? You got to be a cornerstone. And we don't know what Quinn probably pulled the Mike McCarthy method. Quinn probably said, hey, I watched every tape last year. I really did. And I seen where the issues at on your defense, and this is what I can bring to the table. Right? Right? He could come in with that same manual. Let me know in the Mercedes, BMW, Porsche says Sherman is Charles offer. But to get to this point right here is that could have been the situation. And that could have been the angle. Quinn probably went in there and said, hey, I got the manuscript from what you said, or the transcript of what you said, Mike McCarthy. I'm going in. I'm going in chest out. Yeah. Let me see if I can pull this up right quick. Bear with me. Bam. Let me pull this up. So this is his head coaching resume. Do you guys see what I see? Do you see what I see? All right, so just to be objective with everything, Quinn, they already updated. And, of course, with Wikipedia, anybody can go in here and update things. But you know how this go. So the Dallas Cowboys, shout out to you, Jay. I would prefer Marvin Lewis. This is what Jay says. I prefer Marvin Lewis, but this is cool. All right. We'll talk about the Marvin Lewis scenario as well. But his resume as a head coach, we see it from right here. He started off 8-8, transition year, trying to pick up, getting his feet wet as an offensive and a defensive guy, head coach, all in all guy.
I would preferred Marvin Lewis, but it's cool.
Yes, indeed. And then here's the 2016, 11-5. That was his second year. He went to the Super Bowl, 11-5. So he earned his grain of salt. And then in 2017, we see what happened there, 10-6, lost to the Filthy. Now they're in a coaching situation where they looking for, quote unquote, a head coach as well now. And then he went to a pair of 7-9, 7-9. And then 2020, they said, I can't take this no more. You're 0-5. Let's get rid of you, Appreciate the Cowboys because we gave them one of those L's right there. So his total win-loss record is 43-42. Whoop-de-whoop, right? At least he finished off on a winning note, right? He's right above 500, 506. So his resume is nothing that you can go out there and say, yeah, dog, yeah. But, if you go back to his earlier years, you will see the pathway of this kid or what have you, early careers beginning, what it says, William and Mary, so that's where he learned his ties from. And then San Francisco, I can't stand that team, so that's where he earned his first career start, then Miami, then New York Jets, then Seattle Sea Chickens, and then he went to Florida. So that is his quick resume, and you guys feel free. Let me do this for you just in case if you guys don't want to go there. And bam, and bam, and bam. There we go. And Wikipedia, y'all check out Wikipedia and make sure y'all donate to them and give them all of the love and adulations there. But here it is right here. Here it is. So defense quality control from 2001 to 2002. Was that the year the San Francisco 49ers went to the Super Bowl? What year did they win? Was it 2000? What year did they win? What year did they win? Or got out? They didn't get to the Super Bowl, but they got out of the Super Bowl. They didn't get out of the Super Bowl. They went to the conference championship title or something like that, and they lost to somebody. I forgot what year that was. But nevertheless, I had to do some homework. Oh, so he was defensive line coach. I know from 2001 to 2004, I think they made it somewhere close to the Super Bowl. I could be wrong. Or they lost to the Giants. They lost to the Giants in 1 year. I digress. Miami Dolphins, 2005 to 2006. Defensive line coach, assistant head coach and defensive line coach from 2009 to 2010. And then he went to Florida, and then he made a trip back to Seattle for defensive coordinator from 2013 and 14, and then he got promoted. Yeah, 2000. Okay, 2000, that's when they lost to the Giants, so that's before him. Man, I got some aficionados over here, baby. I got some people that's really dig deep into football, right? I do. I knew it was one of those years because they went against the Giants, and they lost. I think they lost to the Giants 1 year. I think it was like a field goal kick or something like that, and it was crazy. Then the Giants went to the Super Bowl, and I think the Giants lost to – who did they lose to that year? Was it the Ravens? Because they – that's a story of a different day. Let me get out of here. And blow that away. But you guys get what I'm saying. Now, it's time to talk about my reservations. We got to talk about reservations, right? We got to talk about the situation at hand. Is it game management? Is it being aloof to the situation? Is it just one of those things where we have to say to ourselves, what the hell was going on? Being up 28-3. I know some people in the chat box. KD, Wesley King, Denise, T.A., Hooper. Shout out to Hooper, man. Can you hoop? John Gonzalez. I know some people that if you saying to yourself, if you the coach for the Atlanta Falcons in the freaking Super Bowl against can't stand this guy, Tommy Brady, right? If you was in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady and you up 28-3, all you have to do is a defensive-minded head coach, right? Are you losing that game? Making sense since 2013. I'm talking about way, way, way in the early. You probably wasn't even born. It's real early in the year, Appreciate you $9.99 for your mind. 28-3. I'm going to talk about it, but let the AI speak on this one right here whenever she decides to say. But it says, hey, Law, at the NFL level, it's about talent, but it's also about IQ. Yeah. You got to have it. Here she go.
Hey Law, at the NFL level it's about talent but also about IQ. Legion of Boom had some smart players at key positions to diagnose plays. We're lacking in that area.
Yeah. Before I go to the 28-3 situation, it's about smart players, right? It's about those things. You got to have See sour glue smoker. 28-3 worry about that, about your D. Yeah, you worry about your D. Yes, you're right. But we're going back to the IQ test. The IQ test is always the major difference maker.
If Jerry and Steven step back and let these coaches run the show, then we will see a difference with this football team. Until then, same old sad story.
Let me give you one of these.
This is Sparta!
Woo! Let me give you another one. You're right. If Jerry Wayne Jones sit back and allow these guys to run their ship, who knows, right? Who flat out knows? But here's the situation. I've raised a question to my dog Mike Fisher when we did the late night hype, and I asked him, is Jerry and Steven Jones football guys, And then he flipped it on me. He said, okay, Law, are you a football guy? And I said, yeah, I consider myself a football guy. And he said, do you have more experience than them? And I said, nah, They've been they've been knowing football before I was born. Matter of fact, Stephen Jones been in this system, collectively speaking, since the latter part of the 80s, been really strong in the 90s, and I was still in school or what have you, right? So he won. He won off of that debate. I couldn't really say anything. Now, when we started to look back at things from a different perspective, we'll say, yeah, we may not know as much as them as it relates to experiences, right? But one can argue that we can see when somebody else is making mistakes. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. You can see when somebody is shortchanging you. You can see that, hey, to get to Arlington Stadium and you're already in South Texas or you're already down there off of 35, it would make no sense to get on 20 and head like you're going east. You see? It will make no sense to do that, right? So it doesn't matter how much experience you have in that moment, in that time. But if you look at it and contextualize it in those factors, you can say, nah, dog, hold on. Hold on. You can literally see where they have the shortcomings at, where they're not really on the same page with everybody else. And I'm talking about the Joneses. What happened here is that we know that they've been around football for a long time, but that doesn't qualify for them to be one of the guys to make all of the decisions the right way all of the time. We can look at it and say, okay, they're on a road and a pathway to nowhere. So they need to allow people who got real true irons in the fire, real true knowledge of the game to step in, because we continue to let the AI speak.
Jerry let McCarthy pick his coach and a historically bad D ensued. Just saying. Quinn runs a lot of zones, so we need guys who are smart and communicate.
That's a good one. And what else we have?
To know is different from common sense.
That's good. That's a good one. That's a real good one. That's a real good one there. All right. Jerry let Mike McCarthy pick his coach in a historically bad defense. All right, I'm gonna talk on that one. But just to finish up my other point, I got to drive this one home. We know for sure that when you meddle around and you always doing things consistently, the same thing over and over again, and you get no results, that is the level and that's the mindset of insanity. We've been trying to do the exact same thing over and over and over again. One can argue that Jerry Wayne Jones himself said that, hey, if he had the same resume from another GM, basically, if it was Joe Blow, the GM, he would have fired him years ago, right? So we know that. So what they have to do, collectively speaking, is yes to that question. If they can just sit back and allow these coaches and allow people that have more time to go through and comb through everything as it relates to this Dallas Cowboys, we would have more wins. Who would have known? Maybe Parcells wouldn't have got mad and got upset and said, you know what, I'm going to quit. Maybe he would have said, you know what, I'm going to stick around. I like this thing. I like being the coach, quasi/general manager. I like being able to pick out players that can fit my system. Now, going back to this other question here, you put it out there so wonderfully, Jay. He said Jerry let Mike McCarthy pick his head coach. I think that Mike McCarthy was just doing exactly what it was. Hey, I'm scrambling. I'm an offensive-minded guy. I've been out of the NFL for a year. Oh, let me pick up the phone. Let me put the guy that put me on back into the football folds. Mike Nolan, what's good? Hey, you tired of New Orleans? Come on over here. Or the New Orleans was probably letting him go. Come on over here. And that is exactly what he did. He gave his brother, his boy that put him on, he gave him a solid. And back to the situation with the Joe Witt, and actually the situation with, it was the guy, Jason Lawrence Simmons. Hey, y'all need some fillers for the Rooney Rule. And trust me, I know it sounds crass, Cowboy Nation, but they needed some fillers for the Rooney Rule, the new one. A lot of people fail to realize it's a new Rooney Rule out there. It was approved last year. And y'all know I'm not finna keep it PG-13 or PC. All I'm saying is what Mike McCarthy did. I know some brothers.
If the Jones know what they're doing. Signed, Doc.
Right. Little RJ in the house. Appreciate you. Hey, the new Rooney Rule, y'all can look it up. Maybe I can post a link somewhere in the description box somewhere around here, is that regardless of the situation, some people still think it's the old Rooney Rule when a head coaching position comes open. No, they modified the new Rooney Rule, saying that if any position of importance come open, you got to at least interview 2 candidates, not 1, 2 candidates from the outside. Why not interview somebody you know that you can already tell them, give them a little nudge and say, hey, bro, hey, I'm going to put you on. People going to notify you. People going to let your name be echoed throughout the world that you're interviewing for the Dallas Cowboys, and we going to get that all signed, sealed, and delivered because we already got somebody in mind. But I want you to still go into the interview, kill it, nail it. That is what happened. It was another solid. Mike McCarthy, he ain't slick. I saw it coming a mile away. Nothing on their resume qualified them boys to be interviewed. Nothing on his resume, and I'm not trying to dog the boys. They might still bring them in for a cup of coffee to be some type of defensive back coordinator or whatever situation to help out. Maybe one of those scouting pros or something. I don't know. They might create a position for those boys. They got enough money for it. There's no salary cap as it relates to coaching, you know. But that is the reality of it. Hey, dog, do you know any brothers? Man, if we go down that road, we already burned. We already burned, old boy. We already called Marvin. Last year, we called Marvin Lewis last year to solidify the Rooney Rule. We definitely can't do that to Chris Richard. We can't bring him in and tell him to come back, too. He would see me coming a mile away. And Marvin Lewis probably already picked up the phone and said, hey, Lovie Smith, nah, dog, don't even pick up the phone for them. They only going to call you in to see if you can solidify the Rooney Rule. I'm just calling it real. I know some people going to get butthurt about it, but that's the real thing. That ruling, you got to at least interview a minority candidate. And I heard somebody say, well, it's not only for black folks, it's for minorities in general. Yes, that's why I call it the Rooney Rule, right? It's for all minorities. But we'll find out what Quinn would do. And the rule is also because these owners, they got so smart and so crafty with it, they had to throw in another clause. What was the other clause, Law? Well, it can't be a brother from within your organization. See, they had to do that for the owners. You know, they had to say, okay, in this clause, you can't say, well, I'm interviewing George Edwards to solidify the Rooney Rule because he's already a brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna interview him for the hit. No, it don't work that way. It got to be somebody outside of the organization, not one. You got to bring in two. Those are the facts. But come on, just look at their resume. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being Dan Quinn? Let's say if everybody was sitting in one room and Dan Quinn looked to his right and he see Joe Witt Jr., not senior, the junior. Then he looked to his left, he see a Jason Simmons. He gonna walk out there like this with his chest all the way out. Saying, dog, I got this. That's like me that's like me with a PhD and I see somebody with just a high school diploma. I'm sitting there like, oh, you didn't go to college? Okay, cool. Oh, this job is for, okay. And you got this much? Don't care how they do in the interview. I'm winning. I'm getting that job. Eric, appreciate you so much for tuning in. He says, Law, what's your thoughts on Stephen Parker playing linebacker? No. But Stephen Parker, if he do play one of those linebacker roles, it will be primarily on how the Jets used their boy when he got traded or got moved over to the Seattle land. It will be blitz primarily only. It'll be one of those situations. And Parker, he got a lot of instincts. He's more quick than fast, but Parker still got a developmental things to do. So that's how, we're going to look at this team. And the reason why Dan Quinn is here now, he got a lot of homework to do. He got to look at everybody expiring contracts. He got to go down and do his due diligence. That's why they hired him really quickly to go down, back to football talk. No more Rooney Rule talk. But you guys get what I'm saying. Got to put that out there for everybody to know. You know, I can't lie to kick it. I'm just going to give you guys the truth. I know some people will beat all around it and try to run away from it, but that's just the reality of it. That's why I'm not a pro component of the Rooney Rule. I think it's a hypocritical hiring tool or what have you. The tokenism, I don't like it. But nevertheless, Quinn got a lot of work to do. Quinn got to go around and he got to interview everybody on his team. He got to see whether or not a person is really sold or bought into the philosophy that he's going to bring to the table, whether it be the 4-3 or the style that he does on the spacing of the front four, what have you. Remember, he loved to play that wide 9, right? So he loved to get his guys way out and they shoot those gaps. But when we look at everything, we would say, okay, he got to go by one. And then he got to look at everybody, and he got to meet up with, not Roger Goodell. He got to meet up with Will McClay and Chris Hall to pick their brains, to see what angle they like with players, who they've been scouting, you know, who in that area, in that region, which college they were really looking at. And then he got to really see whether or not he can interject and say, okay, I like this guy's skill set. I like that guy's skill set. And then it's a lot of stuff that goes into play. It's a lot. And then, Rail James says, Quest Elohim, appreciate it. Rail James says, we got talent. Yes, we got talent. So he got to comb through all of the talent that we got now. And he got to push that to the side. And then he got to comb through everything on this Dallas Cowboys team for the free agency and the free agency players that's going to come. And then he's going to give everybody. Justin, appreciate you, Bledsoe. You related to Drew? Let me know. I don't know too many Bledsoes out there, so Justin, let me know, man. You know, Justin Bledsoe. Y'all see his name right here? Yeah, he said, "Law, your page is always the best." 100. Appreciate you, man. Here's the situation. He got to go through all of those things, and he got to go through the fact that, okay, I'm gonna give y'all some intel on Atlanta guys, right? And he's going to pick up the phone and all of the free agencies. And you guys can comb through the list of the free agent guys that's on the Atlanta team. And he said, yeah, we had a rough and rocky start over there in Atlanta. We was 0-5 last season. I believe that I let you guys down. You could give them that speech. Shout out to you, Charlie Bridges. Appreciate you. He give them that speech, and then he tried to squeeze and cipher some of those guys. And there's nothing wrong with it. Parcells did the same thing, but he was a head coach. He did the same thing. He started bringing in his philosophy. But he cannot make the mistake of alienating his people that's on the staff. He got to really spend time with his defensive line coach, whoever he go out there and hire, his linebackers coach. And if they keep George Edwards, he got to spend time with him, Maurice Lindquist, and Al Harris. He got to make sure that they're on the same page. And if Sean Lee really want to be a head or a coach in the future, he got to pull Sean Lee to the side and say, okay, what are your plans? Halloween King says, law for D.C. Look, if they call me in, my first thing it would be is like, okay, let me find somebody else smarter than me, right?
Now let's sign Doc and let's roll. DC4L.
My dog, the lunatic, appreciate you. I can't lie to kick it. I'm going to tell y'all guys, look, man, I got zero experiences. I don't like the Dallas Cowboys at all. I love this team, so I want us to win the Super Bowl. So what I'm going to do, I know you want to hire me, but I'm going to go out there and find 3 more people that's better than me, and I'm going to put them in positions. And let me just be the motivator. Let me just be the motivator. That's what I would do. I wouldn't try to fake it, D-Ware for D-line coach. I would love that. I think that he came out, I don't know whether or not it was jokingly, but he came out and said he would like to be in the defensive side of coaching things. That would be one of the calls that I would give. I've seen literally tape, and I probably posted somewhere on my IG page. Literally, I seen D-Ware training Aaron Donald, how to get disengagement, hand placement, techniques, spin moves, and stuff like that and beyond. And I was sitting there watching the film like, where in the world are any of the Cowboys players? Why are they not out there? They need to be knocking on D Ware's house in South Lake saying, hey, D Ware, Tank Lawrence, Randy Gregory, all of those boys, they need to be trying to spend weekends at his house. But when you look at other guys from other teams, they driving all the way to Dallas to go see D-Ware, and D-Ware taking time out of his busy schedule to meet up with them. And I'm sitting there like, why I don't see silver and blue out there? You mean to tell me that Tank Lawrence, the other DeMarcus on our team, is not spending quality time with D-Ware? Boy, he got all of the resources in the world. If I was Tank, and no offense to Tank, I like Tank, shout out to the Laws, but he should be trying to be all. D-Ware, what's up, bro? What you want? You know? Teach me. Just K, 25-3. No, leave the man alone. Jalen blitzing between D-Law and Alden. It will be nice. Yes, Rail, they will do that. OB, what's good with you, fam? He says, Law, why does everyone seem to forget the meme that the Falcons defense in the last 2 years, they were most lost defense for 2 years straight, aside from ours? You know, it's my time tick down over there. 23 more minutes. It would take me 2 hours to break that part down. But in short, I will say this, though. The problem is, and I kind of equate this to Jason Garrett, that I always thought that Jason Garrett, even though he didn't do a wonderful job over there in Giants land, but they won more games than us, you know. But one can say that their defense was top 10 and ours wasn't. But here's the thing. Sometimes people are good at one thing or a few things and not many. Don King says it's a horrible hire. Well, we'll find out 6-7 months from now. But I believe that Dan Quinn, he's probably be good at only a few things, not many. Because when we look up this thing right here, it's one of those things whereas when we look at this thing, okay, 8-8, 11-5, they go to the Super Bowl, 10-6, they go to the playoffs, they lose to the filthy, then 7-9, 0-5. 2016, without a shadow of a doubt, I know that he probably wake up in cold sweats thinking about how in the hell we lose and we're 28 points to 3 against the Patriots. Even if we just start running the ball, who was the offensive coordinator at the time? Was that?
I'm sick of Jalen's swipe move when we losing.
You're right. Shout out to TJ. Well, he gonna have to fix that. Real talk. This is the thing. When we look at this right here, he followed with backup for the next year, 10-6. But I guarantee you, every night is Kyle Shanahan, and then Kyle Shanahan, he goes to the doggone Super Bowl and he lose, right, to Pat Mahomes. So it's one of those things that I know is pools of sweat that he probably woke up late at night and saying, man, I lost my shining chance. This guy, collectively speaking, was supposed to have 3 Super Bowl rings. Was he with the Seattle Seahawks when Russell Wilson threw that little fade pass to Butler? Well, he was on that roster then, right? Let me go up. Let me see. Let's go up. Was he on there? Quinn as a defensive coordinator. Fewest points allowed. See, that's what I like. In Seattle Seahawks led the league, fewest points allowed, fewest yards allowed, and takeaways with 231, 4,378, and 39 respectively. Came the first team since the 85 Bears. Look, they even got the picture of the 85 Bears, right? To accomplish this defeat, the Seattle Seahawks went on to the Super Bowl over the Denver Broncos. So he was he on that second wave? He wasn't on the second wave? Let me go all the way up. Let me see. Come on. Damn, they updated this thing real quick. Y'all see that? Shout out to the blue. What color is this? Is this green or is that blue? All right, let me quit playing. All right, so 2013 defensive coordinator. We'll get into that later. But you guys get what I'm saying, right? You guys get what I'm saying. Let me see what we have here. You're looking at it from this is Hustle TV. I like that name, man. Hustle TV. You know, you're looking at it from a head coaching standpoint. Look at it from a resume, from a defensive coordinator. He has 2 Super Bowl rings, not even counting the Super Bowl trip to Atlanta. So he was with the team. Appreciate you. Justin Parker, you are a smart fan. What did Justin Parker say? Let me see. Law Nation, so why did Cleveland / Steelers game look familiar? I don't know. What are you saying with that? The Cleveland versus the Steelers game, the Cleveland had unbelievable opportunities to get 2 quick early turnovers and a few tip pass turnovers, and their defense was ready. My thing is that coach over there in Cleveland land, whole different animal than what we have here. Unfortunately, I have to say that because their offensive line was in shambles. They missed 3 elements of their offensive line, and we didn't hear no hiccups or no echoes of doubt when their running backs was running the ball. Law Nation, running backs didn't do as much right. Laugh out loud. Yeah, quarterback threw for 500 yards, tons of turnovers, and got the loss. 48-37. I wonder what the score would have been if it's Dallas versus Cleveland. I don't know. We don't know. Football, you can't – look, the thing is football is such a fickle way. Football is a unique game in its whole entity. Football is a situation whereas it takes momentum, and it takes some scheming. And it takes the bounce of a football. It's oblong for a reason, right? It bounced weird ways. So if you're looking at the Cleveland game as a comparison, I guess Cleveland versus the Steelers, as a comparison versus the quote-unquote Cowboys versus Cleveland game, there are 2 different situations. I've been telling people for many of years that when you go into the playoff, you don't want to moonwalk into the playoff. You don't want to moonwalk and say, I'm going to the playoff, y'all. No, you want to come into the playoff with full head of steam. You want to come into the playoff with everybody on the same page and momentum. So I believe that what happened with and then they was motivated like a mug. Juju Smith-Schuster, and I know I'm talking about other stuff outside of this Cowboys, but he kind of threw a good question out there, so I got to give him an answer. You know how that is. Y'all know how it is. Somebody coming at you, and they saying, okay, you can't do this and you can't do that, and y'all going to fold. You going to give a little extra out there on the field. You think that those guys were inspired to play against the Steelers, who've been owning them all year long? That was a rivalry game at that. Don't you think that those boys came out there and said, okay, I'm going to showcase and I'm going to show to the world everything that we belongs on this level to play this game, this sport? Because they already bumping their gums talking about we are the same old Browns. Well, we're going to show them. We're going to do the Brown all over them. We're going to do all over them. We're going to do the Brown all over them, and that's what happened. It was a rivalry game in the playoff, and I believe if you line them up, lace them up, and if everything was equal, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm going to contextualize, if everything was equal on the even playing field, if you line them up best out of 5, maybe the Steelers will win that. But the football world is sudden death. Denise said the Browns is the Browns. That's what Juju said. Yeah, man, that'll make me mad too. Yeah. You can't spot no NFL team 28 points and expect them to win. This is from Asmodeus. Yeah, you can't do it unless you Dan Quinn. In the circle of life. Man, my goodness. But that's the reality of it. You know, defense really do need to step up. You win games through defense. And if this team can figure out a way with Dan Quinn to just be focused. I know a lot of people saying that this is a horrible hire. I'm not going to give out my grade for the hire. I'm not finna say, okay, it's an A, it's a B. I want to prove it. I want him to prove it to us. Because I got caught with my hand in the cookie jar. I'm the only person on YouTube that will admit it. Nobody else will admit their faults and their wrongs. Everybody say, I'm right all of the time. But y'all can come over here to Law Nation page and y'all can hear, man, I was wrong. I said the Cowboys would not fire Jason Garrett. That same day, breaking news, the Cowboys released Jason Garrett. I was sitting like, damn, I'm going to have to redo a whole nother video. I said the Cowboys will not fire Mike Nolan. Breaking news. You know, Mike McCarthy telling Mike Nolan, hey, here's your walking papers. I'm glad that I'm wrong, right? I was the person that said, hey, LVE will not amount to nothing. Horrible draft pick. Breaking news. Year one, it was fantastic. People saying, Law, eat that crow. Law, eat that crow. Every game, and I was sitting there right there. Ate so much crow. Where's she at? Boom. I ate all of that crow. I was right on Taco, and guess what? I wish I was wrong on Taco. I said, man, you gonna pass up on TJ Watt? You gonna pick tacos? Dang. Yeah, so Nolan was a very bad hire. This is from Rail. Yeah, you can look at it in those ways. Quarterback for the 6 games. I've still hasn't shown us in 1 year. I see what you're saying, Banks. Taco. Yeah, I feel you. I wanted Greg Williams. This is from Brandon. My thing is with that, if you go out there and you pick up a Greg Williams, the bounty gate and all of the other stuff, I think that he's very aggressive. I just think that with the Cowboys, I don't think that they would allow that. You know, it just Cowboys still got to be PC in factors. You know, that goes beyond us. You know, it's just how it is. They magnify everything over here. OB says, I was wrong about Zeke. I'm eating my crow for sure. Zeke. All right, what else we have here? Edwin, not mad at the hire at all. So here's what we can get from this hire. I got 12 minutes left. I just want people to know that here's what we can get with the hire. We're going to go back to the old philosophy of what we were looking like when Chris Richard was here and Rob Marinelli. Those type of concept. You know, it's going to be a little different from the Tampa 2, but it's going to be back to those philosophies. And then do some 3-down linemen on some situations? Yeah, even Rob Marinelli gave us some different looks, right? What do you call it? When he even had, I forgot the name of the doggone defense, but it's the tip of my tongue. Whenever we did do it, we were successful shooting Sean Lee through that A-gap. It was successful. I forgot the name of what they call the defense at the tip of my tongue. But we'll see how this thing can formulate. But my thing is, with Dan Quinn, he got the coach with a chip on his shoulder. He will have the most visible spotlight of all time because of the situation of how he got here. People are going to bring out the fact that he's been to 3 Super Bowls, 2 with the Seattle Seahawks and then 1 with the Atlanta. The pitfalls are going to be all over the world. The Stephen A. Smith, the Shay Sharps, hey, this is giving them more airtime. Watch me when I say this. They're going to talk more about this for the rest of the week opposed to the actual team that's in the playoffs. Matter of fact, what's going to transpire right around Super Bowl time, maybe we hear some other breaking news. Maybe we hear some other breaking news, but we're going to hear this all before the break of the Super Bowl. 3-2. Yeah, appreciate you. 3-2, Jay. KJ or KCJ. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. 3-2 defense, whatever it was. Yeah. But we're going to see all of the news is going to be on the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody else is going to be second bidder. That is the reality of it. Let me know if I'm lying. Kevin, appreciate you, fam. Don King, we get these mediocre coaches, mediocre players. The cycle continues. Don King said, in the circle of life. Don King, leave us alone. Leave us alone. But I got to look at it like this. If Dan can come into this system, install his style of defense, and if the players can buy into it, like somebody who tipped earlier said that, hey, at least Twaka start liking some of the situations and stuff like that. Maybe they're chattering and saying, okay, we're back to our old ways of defense. Our offense is still going to be top 5. Now that we have a quarterback back, whatever they do with Dak Prescott, then they're going to look at this situation and say to themselves, okay, look at this defense. How can we move from the 32nd defense to the 15th defense, from the 15th defense to the top 10 defense, from the top 10 defense, maybe, just maybe, to the top 5? Going back to where we started from back in 2000. And what was it, 18 when we was okay? 17, all right, back to that era. Let's see. I'm reading some more of your comments. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, share this content. Be sure to hit that like button, share this content. Share it all around the world. Sharing is caring. That was your boy Versick. Appreciate you, Versick. Thank you so much for putting it out there for me to re-say that. Don King says, roll tide. Yeah. Ruglock says 49-37 in Dallas week 4. This is for Cuckoos. Is it Cuckoos? Same Steelers yesterday, 48-37. Steelers throw for 500. Dallas threw for 500. 5 turnovers on the Steelers, 4 turnovers from Dallas, off of a mad defensive look. Well, I don't. What's the scenario there? Are you saying that this is all due to? I don't know. I don't know what's your angle on that one. Give me your angle. Law Versic, code name, man. I mean, Lorenzo is Lawrence in Spanish. Appreciate you, man. I didn't know that. I'm learning something every day. I might still name Law. Yeah. Can't wait for the Berry Church piece. Yes, Bruce, we'll be live and lit and ready for it. Trading everyone for Mike Zimmer, a.k.a. football is Jesus. Okay. Trading everybody for good old Mike. Mike gonna be looking at it like, no, man, I ain't finna be a defensive coordinator. I want to be a head coach. Once you got that taste of being a head coach, you want to go back to being a head coach. Let's listen to the AI.
Trade EV1 for Mike Zimmer, a.k.a. Football Jesus.
This is spot.
Yeah, 5-2 defense. Appreciate your designs. Appreciate you. That's what I was looking for, man. 5-2 defense. Yeah, I think that it was something that I'll have to go back and look at it and see. Kevin says you are trolling. Shout out to you, Kevin, man. Shout out to you. Bring Jimmy Johnson back. Don King, I think that shipped and sell. That shipped and flat out sell. They ain't bringing him back. May have missed it, but what happened to George Edwards? We would know in the following weeks whether or not they're going to keep George Edwards, whether or not George Edwards said, okay, I will suffice. I would look at this thing and say, okay, let me have full control of linebackers at least, or let me have full control of the secondary, or let me coach the defensive line. I don't know. I flat out don't know. That's something that they're still going to be looking at. That's something that they still going to be saying, okay, Law, this is what this defense identity will be, because I'm still with the mindset that they got to figure out who's going to be the defensive line coach. And he could be traveling and bringing his defensive line coach from from the Atlanta Falcons. But all I'm saying is with Dan Quinn is the Joneses got to allow this man to pick his weapons. That's all I'm saying. Parcells never coming back. It's from Wesley King. You're right. Yeah. Shout out to Dr. Football. Ruglock said, I'm talking to yourselves. What has George Edwards done? With the question mark. Just look up how long he been with, let me see. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. He been respectfully with the Minnesota Vikings team since, I think, 14 or 15 until 2018, 2019. Yeah. In between that time frame, let the AI speak.
I think LVE and Jalen needs to go back to their original pound positions. 2018 we were top 5 defense, 5th in stopping the run and pass.
Yeah, but I want to know, that's a good question there, Jay Versick. That is good, and I appreciate you for the donation to help elevate the nation. I want to know the ratio of time of possession. I want to know the ratio of time of possession, how long we had that ball as us running the ball. And I want to know our third down completion, because that's always a weird number there, top 5 in defenses. I think it's a direct correlation to, and I might have to do my homework on it, of us playing keep away. But I feel exactly what you're saying. I think that Dak Prescott in 2018 was one of the years that he passed more than he did at that time frame than any other year. And that was the year that we started off slow. And we made an acquisition to get Amari Cooper. But I would take a look into that. And that was the year, I believe, that Ezekiel Elliott had 77 receptions. They featured Ezekiel Elliott a lot, and that caused a lot of time of possession. But off the clock. But I would do some research on that, but I really appreciate that altogether. Akeem, what's up, man? Akeem, appreciate you. Jalen need to play downhill. We'll see. We'll see what will be the final excuse of where they're going to put Jalen Smith at on this team. Will he rush? Will he drop back in coverage? Can he flip his hips and cover? Will he just be a tackler of the ball out in space and lead the team in tackles? And we'll find out what they'll do in that situation and scenario. I'll study that. Appreciate you, King. Appreciate you. Tank robbed the bank. This is from Don King. Let's see here. Jessica, appreciate you. Appreciate you, Jessica. Thank you so much for being part of this thing. Let me see if I can play something over here on 105.3 The Fan. They was talking about their thoughts of the hire. And let me see if I can get my dog, Jeff Kavanaugh, live. Check out his YouTube page as well, if they can allow me to play it. I'll have to refresh it. Hold on. Give me a few seconds. Here we go. You're going to pop up in a few seconds. Let me know if you guys can hear it.
I like the Dan Quinn hire. I actually do. More than the McCarthy hire when they hired him.
Let me know if y'all can hear
because I think no matter who they hired, you were going to have a lot of people who were going to look for a negative because it's the Cowboys, and it would have been either he's never been a coordinator or his defense was bad this year or whatever. But Dan Quinn between Seattle and Atlanta has run with 4 down linemen. He's run with 3 down linemen. But he had a really good run in Seattle as a defensive coordinator. When a head coach thing doesn't work out and you have to go back to what you're best at, I'll take that experience. I will take a guy who is respected league-wide as a defensive mind that has a track record that is good as a coordinator, that has run some really good defenses. I got no problems with Dan Quinn.
Let's look no further than what goes on in this own division at the football team with Jack Del Rio, former head coach, longtime head coach, and then he gets an opportunity to be the DC, and they do a great job. The football team, I mean, that was their calling card, was their defense all year. I do like this hire because I think it's a better fit for the personnel they currently have, and I think that's really, really important, and to me, the draft is going to be about adding secondary, hopefully a couple of corners, hopefully a safety, maybe a defensive tackle or two. So yeah, I'm totally on board with this. I'm talking to everybody in Atlanta about Quinn. They swear by the guy. They say the problems they had in Atlanta wasn't him. It was that every year they had a new OC. That was the biggest problems that they were dealing with.
Okay. So y'all heard it. Not from my mouth, but from theirs. All right, so we're going to kick back and we're going to watch some other football on the college level. I really appreciate everybody that's tuned in. I really do. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this content, let a friend, neighbor, foe know where to go. Check out 105.3 The Fan. If you didn't get a chance to hear that entire excerpt there, I'm going to post it in the comment community blog here. And there we go. Feel free to check that out. That's all of the time that I have for this beautiful moment. Don't forget to hit that like, share, let your friend, neighbor, foe know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboy Sports Talk and beyond. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. And my thing is, Jeff Cav, he's speaking glowingly of the Dan Quinn and also Brian Broaddus. So I didn't hear those praises from those two last year on the Mike Nolan. So hopefully something can trickle down the line. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. And still, let's go. You know, we still got to support this team regardless of the situation, regardless of the nature that's within hand. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's go. I know I killed your eardrums. Let's go. Where my fire? I got to see some fire emojis out there. Let's go. Yeah. 7-7. Appreciate the update on the score. They say a prize fighter, even when he's down, he's figuring out ways to continue to swing. He's trying to fight through everything he can imagine, right? He's looking at this thing and saying, okay, how can I overcome this situation? How can I become better than what I am? I think that Dan Quinn need to say this right here. Tell me not in mournful numbers. Life is but an empty dream, for a soul is dead that slumbers. And it's not what it seems. Life is real, and life is earnest, and the grave is not his goal. Thus thy art to dust returneth was not even spoken of the soul. In his broad fields of battle and bivouacs of life, be not like a dumb driven cattle, but be a hero in the strife. Lives of great men all remind us we can live our lives sublime and departing. Lead these Dallas Cowboys into victory on the defensive side of the trenches of the mind and then of the trenches out there on the field. If he said that offense was the issue with the Atlanta Falcons and the defense wasn't, then he needs to roll up his sleeves and bring forth the greatest defense the Dallas Cowboys ever seen and exhibit out there. He need to get out there and say, yes, absolutely, yes. They were historically bad last season, but that was last season. This is a dawn of a new beginning. The Dallas Cowboys versus the universe. Everybody hate the Cowboys. They can't stand the Cowboys. They got D all in their mouths. But let's give them some D to chew on, some defense. Let's continue to find a way to grind, Cowboy Nation. Let's continue to find a way to be focused. And hey, I'm going to say this. Write this down. If you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time and your peace and your sleep for it. If all of your desires of it makes you quite mad enough that you don't get tired of it, and it makes you hold all other things tawdry and cheap for it, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you dream and scheme is about it, if you'll gladly go out there and sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it and lose all terror of God or man for it, if you will simply, oh, just simply, Cowboy Nation, go after the thing you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, with faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity. If neither cold poverty or famine or fame or sickness or body or brain can turn you away from the thing you want, If dogged and grim and besieged and beset it with the help of almighty Cowboy Nation, you already know you can get it. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. Let's go. Turn me up, baby.
This is Sparta!
Yeah! Somebody right now is ready to put on some pads. Somebody right now is ready to play some Law Nation defense. Somebody already know right now that Law don't play around. Some people imitate, but they can't duplicate. Some people try to be me, but they can't see me. Because when we get out here, we throwing this fire, we throwing these blows, and we want to say that this right here, Cowboy Nation. They say, Law, you a thief with words. Yeah, I stole them, and I'm going to take them, and I'm going to bury everybody with the truth, because the truth is the hardest pill to swallow. Oh, I'm on right now. I'm ready to put my helmet on and run through something right now. I believe that everybody on this team need to feel that fire, need to be blown up and say to themselves, okay, we got historically bad defense last year. Now it's time for us to bring the mantle home back to the Cowboys. We're not going to be sitting here watching other teams play in this playoff next year. We're not going to be sitting here watching other teams go to the Super Bowl. We're going to be there one way or another. We're going to build this thing the right way, the proper way, and we're going to wreck through the league because all of the excuses is gone now, right? Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready to play football now, baby. Yeah. Let's go, Iceberg Q. Let's go. Let's go. I can't leave until I give everybody a shout out. Arnold, I see you, fam. Jessica, I see you putting all of the fire and desire out there. James, I see you, fam. Akeem, I see you. Dane, Joshua, hey, I see you. I am Gambit, Rue Glock up in this thing. Boy, when I hear Rue Glock, I be thinking about this all the time. But I hear, let's go. Artists, I see you, fam. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go.